Hey guys, it's Caroline, and to celebrate 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, I decided to do 5 days of Italian language. I took a poll on YouTube to ask you guys what your favorite thing about my channel is, and most of you said Italian language. So I figured 5 days of Italian language would be something a lot of you enjoy, and a way I can say thank you to all of you. I feel so grateful for this channel and this community and this creative space. So today we're going to be talking about verbs in the present tense. I'll be doing ARE, ERE, and IRE verbs and how to conjugate them. So since this is day 1 and the first video I'm filming, let me explain the structure of how we lay out verbs in Italian. So when we structure verbs in Italian, we have the io, which is the me or I, the tu, which is the you, the lui or lei, which is he or she, noi, which is we, voi, which is you all or y'all. Is that how you write y'all? I don't know, but you get it. And loro, which is they or them. So that's what these words all mean, so you know what I'm talking about when I structure the verb charts. So let's start with the verb parlare. That's an ARE verb because it ends in ARE. So this is the root, PARL. So we'll be adding our endings onto the root. So let's write out our chart first. Io, tu, lui, lei, he or she always go together. This can also be our formal box, like if you want to speak formally to someone, you would speak from the he or she, but I don't teach formal really because I teach more casual conversation. So if you want to learn formal Italian, maybe I could make another video on that, but typically I don't teach the formal way to speak because you really don't use it that much in daily life. So unless you're a super proper person, but how boring is that? Okay, anyways, so then we have noi, voi, and loro. Okay, I'm gonna get another color marker to fill this in. So for the io or I or me, we add an O on. So it becomes parlo. I didn't even tell you guys what parlare means. This video is, wow, okay. Parlare means to speak. So, io parlo, I speak. Tu, you add an I, parli, you speak. Lui or lei, you add an A, and it becomes parlo. Noi, we add an iamo, so it becomes parliamo. So we're adding these endings onto our root, P-A-R-L. So, and the way you get the root of the verb is you just take off the ARE. For every verb, it works the same. Then voi, we add an ATE, so it becomes parlate. And loro, we add an ANO, so it becomes parlano. So noi parliamo, we speak. Voi parlate, you all speak. And loro parlano, they speak. So this is the full conjugation of parlare in the present tense. Okay, next verb. So we have verbs that end in both ARE and IARE. So we're gonna do an IARE verb now so you can see how those are conjugated. So let's do the verb mangiare, which means to eat. A very useful verb in Italy. So we have our chart, io, tu, lui, lei, noi, voi, and loro. So our root here, to get our root, we'll take this, the IARE, and keep this, MANG. So we'll be adding on these endings I show you to the MANG to get our verb. So for io, we add an IO, so it becomes mangio. Tu, we add an I, so it becomes mangi. Lui or lei, we add an IA, so it becomes mangia. Noi, we add an IAMO, so it becomes mangiamo. Voi, we add an IATE, so it becomes mangiate. And loro, we add an IANO, so it becomes mangiano. So, io mangio, I eat. Tu mangi, you eat. Lui or lei mangia, he or she eats. Noi mangiamo, we eat. Voi mangiate, you all eat. And loro mangiano, they eat. So that's the full conjugation of an IARE verb. And now we'll move on to ERE verbs. So for our ERE verb, we're going to do the verb vedere, vedere, which means to see. So we can map out our verb chart here. Okay, so for ERE verbs, you take off the ERE and keep your root, and then you'll add the endings onto the root. So our root is VED. So for io, we add an O, and it becomes vedo. For tu, we add an I, it becomes vedi. For lui or lei, we add an E, it becomes vede. For noi, we add an iamo, so it becomes vediamo. For voi, we add ETE, so it becomes vedete. And for loro, we add an ONO, so it becomes vedono. So io vedo, I see. Tu vedi, you see. Lui or lei vede, he or she sees. Noi vediamo, we see. Voi vedete, you all see. And loro vedono, they see. So that is our complete verb chart for vedere. And this is how you conjugate all regular ERE verbs in the present tense. All right, time for IRE verbs. So there are two types of IRE verbs. I'll start with the easy one, and we're going to use the verb dormire. Dormire means to sleep. So we'll make our verb chart here. So we'll box that IRE, and for IRE verbs, they work the same as ARE and ERE verbs. So this is our root, and we remove the IRE, and we will add these endings to our root. So for io, we add an O, so it's dormo. For tu, we add an I, so it becomes dormi. For lui or lei, we add an E, so it becomes dorme. For noi, we add an iamo, so it becomes dormiamo. Then for voi, we add an ite, so it becomes dormite. And for loro, we add an ono, so it becomes dormono. So io dormo, I sleep. Tu dormi, you sleep. Lui or lei dorme, he or she sleeps. Noi dormiamo, we sleep. Voi dormite, you all sleep. And loro dormono, they sleep. So this is one way of conjugating IRE verbs. Now I'm going to show you another way, and let's get into it. So with the IRE verbs, there are this group of verbs called the IRESC verbs, and so they're a little irregular with the way they're conjugated. My students are always asking me how to tell the difference between when to use the ISC form or the regular form for conjugating IRE verbs, and there's only one way to do it, and it's simply memorization. So I have a list of common IRE ISC verbs that I give my students, like the most used ISC verbs, and so that's helpful, but unfortunately it is just pure memorization. So anyways, let's get into this next verb. So we're going to do the verb capire, which means to understand, and I can't fit it on my board. Let's try that again. So, to understand. So this is an ISC verb. And these work the same as the other verbs. You take off this ending and then you have your root. So we'll be adding all of these endings onto the CAP. So, Io, you add an ISCO, so it becomes capisco. Tu, you add an ISCI, so it becomes capisci. Lui or lei, you add an ISCE, so it becomes capisce. Noi, you add an IAMO, so it becomes capiamo. Voi, you add an ITE, so it becomes capite. And loro, you add an ISCONO, so it becomes capiscono. So, io capisco, I understand. Tu capisci, you understand. Lui or lei capisce, he or she understands. Noi capiamo, we understand. Voi capite, you all understand. And loro capiscono, they understand. So something you might have noticed is that I pronounce the ISC differently on all of these. So when the SC is followed by an O, it's an SK sound, so I say capisco. When the SC is followed by an I say capisci, so it's an SH sound. When it's followed by an E, I say capisce, so it's an SH sound again here. Lui or lei capisce. And then here it's followed by an O, so I have the SK sound again. So, sk, sh, sk. And that is the way we conjugate IRE, ISC verbs in the present tense. So that wraps up all of the verbs for the present tense that I wanted to talk about today. If you guys want to do more verb practice, let me know. I'll definitely make more verb videos. And there are 21 verb tenses in the Italian language, so my marker cap just flew across the room. Even my marker was shocked. Okay, so yeah, basically I'm happy to make more verb videos because there's a lot to learn and there's a lot to share. Also, today is just day 1 of my 5 days of Italian, so make sure you go watch my other 4 days. They'll be coming out consecutively this week. So make sure to look for those, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this, and hit your notification bell so you know when I post new videos. I'll see you guys next time. Ciao for now.